Hello everyone, this is Tom from MILA Academy. I'm here with 5 useful tips to improve grammar for IELTS. So without further ado, let's get started. So tip number 1. Use a mix of simple and complex sentences, not just complex sentences and all. The problem with many IELTS test takers is that they would just scramble out a lot of, lengthy complex sentences wherever possible. That is not a good idea. So if you make lengthy complex sentences everywhere, the problem is that it would lose the focus of the reader. The reader would struggle to understand what you're trying to convey. So instead, if you use a mix of simple sentences and complex sentences, a combo of both, then help them understand your idea. Alright, so from now on, don't just use complex sentences. Instead, try to make simple sentences as well to improve the clarity of your paragraphs. By the way, what is the difference between a simple and complex sentence? Do you know that? No worries, I'll help you understand that very easily. So this is a complex sentence and this is a simple sentence. Can you make out the difference? Yes, that's it. This has got only one subject and one predicate, whereas this has got more than one subject and one predicate. That's it. This is the difference actually. Tip number 2. Use adjective clauses when you write. See, what are adjective clauses? Very easy. Adjective clauses are the complex sentences with adjective pronouns. Now you'll be wondering what are adjective pronouns. They are just pronouns such as who, which, what, when, where, okay, etc. Okay, so if you make a clause with these pronouns and they are called adjective clauses. So the main function of an adjective clause is to add extra piece of information to a sentence. For example, Narendra Modi is coming tomorrow. Okay, that's a sentence. Narendra Modi is coming tomorrow. So here we don't know who Narendra Modi is, and if you want to add a bit of information about Narendra Modi, you can say like this: Narendra Modi, who is the Prime Minister of India, is coming tomorrow. So it has got more meaning. So this is the purpose, and it is very useful for IELTS. For example, when you write something, in order to have more clarity in what you're actually writing, in order to make the reader understand exactly what you're trying to convey, you can add these extra details. That way they'll have better understanding. So now we are headed to tip number 3. What is it? Use if clauses. If clauses are also called conditionals. So if you want to add condition, some sort of condition to your sentences, you can add if clauses. For IELTS, adding conditions or talking about hypothetical situation and their consequences are very important, because when you write something, it is very important to make the examiner understand what you're trying to convey. Okay, and your idea must be found justified. So in order to justify whatever idea you've got, it is a very good idea to add conditions, hypothetical situations and their consequences. And with if, the conjunction if, we can actually do that very easily. So if you use if clauses in your writing, you have got 2 benefits. One is you're adding a complex sentence to your writing. The other one is that you're making some hypothetical situations and making some consequence out of it. So that adds more clarity to your writing. For example, if you spend on social media all the time, you will get addicted to it. So if you spend on social media, hypothetical situation, you will get addicted to it. That is a consequence. So try using if clause at least once in your essay. Tip number 4, make sure you're punctuating properly. Punctuation marks that you're using should be appropriate. Okay, so when you use complex sentence, after the end of your subordinate clause, you have to put the comma. When you make a sentence with a compound sentence, make sure that your comma is put before the conjunction. So like this, different kinds of rules are there. So before you start making sentences, complex sentences, what you're going to do is you have to make sure that the punctuation marks are put appropriately. Basically, comma, learn the rules of comma. That's it. That makes a lot of difference, and your errors can be mitigated like anything if you learn to use commas appropriately. Other punctuation marks come later. Okay, so first clear out the problems with comma. So I want you to punctuate these sentences properly. So you can pause the video and punctuate it. Let's see whether you can find correct answer or not. So let's check who got the correct answer. So although I study hard for IELTS, I don't get my required score. So where do you put comma? Yes, after IELTS. Then I have a lot of money, yet I am not happy. Where should you put comma? Yes, before yet. I don't get my required score, although I study hard for IELTS. So it's the where you put the comma here. You don't have to put a comma. So if you put conjunction in between the complex sentence, commas aren't required. Be mindful about the functions and rules of the complex structures that you use. This is very important. So you can use any kind of complex structure in your essay, no problem. But if you use them not in accordance with their functions and rules, the problem is that you would be using them wrong. That is deadly. You will lose your score for that. If you don't know these functions and rules, please don't use complex structures at all. So these high-level tracks should be forgotten. Okay, so take the pain of learning the rules and functions, then you use them, then you try applying them in your essay. That will look good. So if you found the video useful, please feel free to hit the subscribe button.
MILA, transforming your needs into possibilities.